All right, Brian, it's time to use No Shave November to jumpstart the conversation about and for men's health. So joining us today, Dr. Ram Devadas, interventional cardiologist, specialist at Carle Health. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Tyler, for the invitation.
Let's go ahead and talk about it. A lot of men can have issues prioritizing their own health. What are some of the main issues you see for men that could have been prevented?
I think the most important aspect I'm concerned about men's health is, I would say, three things. One is ignorance. They don't pay attention to their symptoms, which they don't understand what heart symptoms are. Second thing is denial, like this is not happening to me. This is not heart, this is just heartburn. And then the last thing is access. Many young males or even middle-aged males don't even have a primary care physician to talk about if there's a problem. So those are the three major things that leads to, unfortunately, heart condition being the most common killer of men in the latest days. Yeah.
And you're going to be around family over Thanksgiving, you'll realize that men don't live as long as women typically.
Absolutely. There is a 6-year difference. That's mostly because of the things that I just mentioned. I think they just don't take care of their own health.
So when they think about doing that, taking that first step, I just had a physical the other day. It didn't take long, but still the doctor got some key readings just from a blood test.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the important things is to know your risk. I think getting to a doctor, your primary care physician, making an appointment, getting your blood pressure checked, having your blood checked for at least once a year to make sure your cholesterols are checked, and those know your risk conditions, change your lifestyle, exercise regularly, eat healthy, and then habits. Quit smoking. I think that's the most important thing that can help you to reduce your risk of heart attacks.
Let's talk about this time of year when the weather drops, the barometric pressure changes. Does that affect a man's heart differently than a woman's?
And they do have a lot of hemodynamic changes, meaning that there's changes in the blood pressure, changes in the heart rate, amount of oxygen you inhale when the weather changes, especially with the drop in barometric pressure and also the cold weather. But there is no significant difference between a male versus female. But the males tend to be more prone because they don't pay attention to the weather changes. They just tend to go out and start doing heavy, high-intense exercises in a cold weather. That puts them at a high risk of heart conditions.
All right, let's talk about the holiday. A lot of folks planning to eat a lot. If you're overeating for Thanksgiving, is it any more or less dangerous for men than women?
Not necessarily, but you do have to pay attention to your symptoms. Obviously, if you have any heartburn symptoms, don't ignore it completely. It all depends on what correlation it has to activity. If you have symptoms more with activity, that's more likely to be a heart, and don't ignore it as a heartburn symptom. Just because I ate a big meal last night doesn't mean that it's always a heartburn. So don't ignore your symptoms.
Is there a way to try to treat it yourself, and if it doesn't work after a certain amount of time, then realize, wait, maybe this is more serious?
You should pay attention to the timing of your symptom to the food intake. If it's very close to the food intake, maybe try take some over-the-counter medications, give yourself a few minutes and see if it gets better. But if it doesn't get better in, like, say, 10-15 minutes, you should get to the hospital and get yourself checked out.
Dr. Ram Devadas from Carle Health, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for the invitation.
We are talking about No Shave November because the month is not over, so we want to thank everybody for being a part of it. Facial hair as a conversation starter is the idea, so join us, let the beard grow. We've had some photos that we've uploaded. You can use that QR code to do the same thing. You can also share advice on how to take care of your beard. I've been using some beard balm. I think it's making a difference. In just a few days, also keep in mind we're going to shave this beard off live. Brian and I will do it during the 5 o'clock show.